When is the best time to start your business? It's quite a complicated question that's really jam-packed, and the quick answer to that, if you want to stick around, is now. The best time to start is right now. But the long answer is a bit more complicated. How's it? My name is Dan. I'm from Kickstart Life, and the question we need to unpack today is, when is the best time to start your business? If you have an idea, you need to kind of investigate whether there is an opportunity from that. And an idea can be something very simple, whether it's a product or service, but to really create a business around that is a whole animal in of itself. And I've learned from my own personal experience that to have an idea is not good enough. Where it really matters is to see whether that idea has a market and whether that market is even worth it. For example, if you have an idea to create ice creams, and those ice creams you plan to be sustainable, vegetarian or vegan or whatever label you want to put on it, you could create those ice creams. But if you're in a place where there isn't a market, there's no one else that is really interested in those, then your business is not going to work. It might be a good idea, it might be worthy of awards, but it's not going to be a sustainable business. And that really is the first step, is to take your idea and validate it. Usually, entrepreneurs get their ideas from personal pain points. So what that means is you come across some problem in your life and you figure, well, there should be some solution, and whether there is a sustainable business that can be created around it. But in terms of the question, when is the best time to start? Well, the long answer is right now, but it's a bit more complicated than that. And the reason I say that is because if you're going to start a business, it's not going to be the same that it is right now than it will be in 12 months from now. And that's actually just the reality. And the main opposition I find towards starting a business from friends or families or just acquaintances I meet is that they're worried about trying to sort out all of the issues they need to make it the best possible package going forward. And basically what that means is they don't want to really commit to a business because they really need to get all their ducks in a row. They just need to make sure they have a plan, they have a website, they have a marketing plan, they have their products, they have their customers lined up, they have their logistics. There's a lot that can go into having a business, but the best time to start is right now, because the business that you create right now is going to be vastly different in the future. But that doesn't mean you should wait to try and get everything sorted so that your whole business idea works, your whole market works, your whole products work. And there's a bit of a caveat to this because some businesses do require a lot of planning. They might be complex, but for the vast majority of businesses, it's better to start right now because that'll give you some leg room to actually explore their idea a bit, to take that idea I was talking about and see, is it even a possible idea that can make money, and is it sustainable in the long run? And you shouldn't wait, because the longer you wait, the more that idea will collect dust on your metaphorical shelf of business ideas. And so starting a business now really just removes all of that. And then you can start to build it up, and then you can see whether there's a market for it. And if there isn't a market for it, well, there's no point having a huge marketing plan, because there's no market. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at it, it isn't going to stick. So the idea here is to start your business and then validate the idea, see if there is even a market available for it. And once you have seen that there is a market available for that business idea, well, then you can start to do all the really fun things, which is creating that business and building it up and getting all the advertising you need done and getting yourself online with a website and a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and really designing it. And if it's a service, you need to start pricing it and seeing how much time it'll take you and whether it's actually worth it from a profit side, and trying to calculate your costs. So there's a lot that goes into it, but it can become quite complex or intimidating. But it doesn't matter how much time you put into it, you just need to start. And there's always going to be a difference between starting now and having a really bare bones business that you kind of start to build up a little bit and figure out as you go along, compared to another business where you started off and you wait until you have all the blocks together before you can feel really confident that, you know, this thing that you're stepping out into is going to work. But the facts show that, you know, there isn't really a good way to know if a business idea is going to work until you've actually started. And my whole problem with people waiting too long to start a business is that sometimes planning in of itself can be detrimental to a person who's starting the business, because there's always things to plan, right? You're never going to stop planning, whether it's now trying to figure out your business name or how you're going to do it, whether there's a market, compared to a year from now, whether you started the business and now you need to figure out the next steps. You know, are we going to keep these products, these services? Are we going to go into new markets? Are we going to do new things? So the planning never ends. That the planning is important in of itself, but it isn't the end, which means that where the real jewel lies in having a business and running it successfully is actually execution. And execution sets apart the planners from those who actually succeed, because anyone can have a good plan, but the person who can take that plan and really execute well on it, that is the person who is going to be successful in their business. And you can look at all the real world examples and think about in your own life all of the business ideas you might have shelved up in that metaphorical business shelf. All those ideas can seem so good in review, but when it actually comes to putting pen to paper and trying to figure out whether this will work and executing on it, that is where business really lies. And so the whole question of this video is, when is the best time to start? Well, the answer seems quite obvious now, doesn't it? It's to start right now. It might seem intimidating. You might be worried about what others think of you, your friends or your family, but that doesn't actually really matter. The main priority you have is to start that out and to actually test it and iterate and say, well, my business idea right now isn't actually where I need it to be. But then you can change it over time. It doesn't preclude you from changing it. A business you have now compared to a business you have in a year from now, they might be two very different things, but the most important thing is to actually have started it. So if you don't start it, you don't have a business. And I promise you, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, you're going to come out the other side a lot happier deciding that you did start, rather than leaving it on the idea and wondering, what could have been if I had started? So start right now, dedicate 30 minutes every day, and I promise you, you're going to be a lot happier with yourself in a year from now, even if that business isn't the business you want it to be. So that's it from Kickstart Life. Thanks for watching.